is all around you, honey. It's okay. You can open all of your eyes, although we know it might take a little adjusting and some getting used to. You are amongst the travelers, and us travelers see in more ways than one. You'll too soon notice the light you bring to your surroundings once the roads to your vision have fully been cleared and opened. Things might be a little unusual for a while. In time, you will adapt, but we won't ever promise you a total lack of discomfort. No, we don't concern ourselves with that. It's up to you to determine how comfortably you can travel in the dark. Now, Nana, is a moment to ask yourself a few questions. Where do you want to be? Where we come from, time is holographic. But unlike you, those where you come from clock into time every day. They live experiences that have already been, like a loop. Your path, however, is one that has been called to create. Understand that any and all of your choices will require a bit of sacrifice and negotiation. How do you envision your freedom, Nana? Where do you want your freedom to take you? Map this vision, then draw it, and sing its directions out loud. You are just as powerful as they say you are, but only as marvelous as you allow yourself to embody. Take off your mask and surrender, Nana. Surrender and watch the stars guide you. Dare to go forth and blossom, Nana, and don't ever look back. Always bet on you and remember that the sky, the waters, and your ancestors are with you to support you, your journey, and the answers that you seek. You are never alone, although sometimes it very may well seem like it. Much can be discovered in the dark, however, and there is no need to be a refugee when the constellations and the fullness of the moon are in plain sight. Yours, the Travelers. The clock tower followed Nana as she walked down the street of her neighborhood in Samesville. Her parents' house had finally come into sight. They lived in District 57, and although it was a fine district, clock towers like this were just now beginning to appear in the area. Much like the cities up north, several dozen clock towers had crowded from block to block throughout the districts. Nana walked, turning the slightly curved path of pavement, inching closer and closer to her destination. The tower's mechanical head rotated, and she felt its shifted gaze pierce past the hairs of her own skin. In some more polluted parts of the city, the sky shone with the glowing pupils of the clock towers instead of the stars at night. Samesville hadn't quite crossed that threshold yet, thank God. Nana entered the driveway leading to her family's 6-car garage. She always thought it was a little absurd for one household with a family of 4 to have 6 cars. Her and her sibling didn't even drive yet. But this was pretty common nowadays. Some kids' families on her block had twice as many cars than hers. Their driveways was much more bigger and extravagant. As she approached the gates, Nana pulled out and unlocked her phone. Before tapping the close button on her screen to shut the sliding gates, she turned around and stuck her tongue out at the clock tower, widening her eyes to mock its intrusive stare. "What are you looking at?" she said disgustedly, raising her finger to flick the pupil off. The clock tower blinked back, unbothered. Some of the new clock towers had been designed to stand so tall that they shot well above the district's eldest of trees in the neighborhood. This one was no different. Nana hated everything about the dominion that the towers and recently ordered curfews had taken over in her and her family's area. It had been well over 22 months of unexplained monitoring. And every day at exactly 4:07 p.m., Nana had to walk home from school. She had precisely 17 minutes to make it back to the house by 4:24 p.m. without a warning from the local DTA, District Traveling Authority, which could count as a mark against her ranking in school. As if my parents' rules have not been strict enough this year. What have I done to become such a subject to this spectatorship? She thought to herself. Nana tapped her cell phone screen again and closed the gates behind her, walking through the garage to the back of the house. She dropped down her bag of what felt like 50 tons of books and kicked off her shoes to unwind a bit before beginning her homework for tomorrow's classes. She was in her final year of intermediate school before going off to uni next fall. The past couple of weeks had been particularly rough from exams and testing. Although no final decisions had been made yet, as she was still waiting on a few acceptance letters, her first choice was Melk University. She heard that it was an exceptional place for young people like herself who carried big dreams. All of the most notable dreamers seemed to have graduated from there. Although art was her first passion, she wanted to be amongst those who carried the highest of honors. Her focus in school would be in the liberal arts as a dual major in writing and cosmic relations. Nana heard a door slam and her mother's voice trailing from inside. "Nana, is that you?" "Yes, Mom, I'm in the garden." "The mail's here. Looks like you got something from Melk."